Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I can never get the eyes right. But that's the trouble when you look like a bank robber. You can't exactly get the eyes right anyway. But despite the crimes that I'm committing as far as how I look is concerned, there are much more serious things to talk about. Take the Manchester airport attackers. For one, you know, the Muller Rices who basically went out of their way to attack the police, who the mainstream media try to make out, oh, look at this horrible policeman stamping on this innocent Muslim's head. Yeah, those attackers. The ones who, when the CCTV came out, the mainstream media had to change their tune. Just like that. Because obviously you can't say they're innocent if it's been found out that these Muslims attacked the police at the Manchester airport, quite frankly. It's always satisfying watching them squirm when the truth comes out, when the oligarchy and the media and the government are all made to look stupid because they decide to jump on the "we will protect the Muslim community" bandwagon. Because if they don't, they're afraid that they'll end up being called racist. And all this, of course, in spite of the fact you can't be racist against a religion. But you're about as likely as to convince them of that shit as you are of getting me to be convinced that cake is not very nice. Who said we know that because of the amount you eat? Shut up, you. Anyway, my point is, the mainstream media will never be convinced that you can't be racist against a religion, quite frankly. Because that would mean everything they've been telling us for God knows how fucking long as far as Islam is concerned was a complete and utter lie. And I ask you, where does it end with the mainstream media? Where does it end? Chances are it probably doesn't. Just like the injustice and the blatantly obvious two-tier judiciary system. The fact that we can see nonces, rapists and violent offenders get away without charge or without a custodial sentence, or in these two Manchester airport attackers cases, they're on bail. So these two people who have been categorically shown to be beating up police officers for a living, these two wankers are out on bail. I want somebody to make that make the slightest bit of sense. Because I can tell you this much for free. As a prime example, see those guys over there? If I were to go and attack them, like violently attack them, or if it was police officers and I went and attacked them, how long do you think it would take for me to be in jail? Unlike these two Muslims, who are now on bail, I guarantee you I would have been in jail within the week. Just like that. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. That's the thing. They're more than happy to let nonces and violent offenders out, but if you say anything on Twitter, or you say anything on Facebook, or you go against the government narrative, you can look forward to a nice set of black bars, quite frankly, and a 9x9 cell. Well, they need 18x18 to fit me. Anyway, they would be putting you in a cell if you dared to attack people. They would be putting you in prison if you dared to speak out against the government or the media. But if you attack armed police at Manchester Airport and you're a Muslim, you get released and you basically go on bail because they didn't put in a guilty plea, or any plea for that matter. The religion of peace that constantly calls for the death of us kuffar, the religion of peace that keeps on doing these terrorist attacks that are responsible for 84% of all the grooming gang crimes. You simply cannot tell me or any person here who has that increasingly rare resource these days called common sense that there isn't a two-tier justice system right now. That's like if I were to step on a set of scales and I say, oh look, I'm 19 stone. And then people say, oh, you're perfectly healthy. No, the scales would come back and say, get off me, you fat fuck. And Keir the traitor Starmer wonders why his approval rating is just like my chances of getting into the gym as a fitness instructor. 0. Only 10% of people approve of this dictator. Or maybe I was right first time. Is it any wonder in that case why Nigel Farage is starting his own grooming gang inquiry? And is it any wonder why this country is fast going down the pan? But I want to talk about now the 1st of February, quite frankly. Because if I speak any more about this other shit, I'm going to lose my mind. So as far as the 1st of February is concerned, obviously there is no shot I am going to be wearing this balaclava. Because obviously I don't want to give the infiltrators, whether it's with the eye or without it, as far as traitors is concerned, is your decision to stroke number one is your decision to decide. But we must make sure that everything we do is done peacefully and by the book. Yes, I have repeatedly said that if they don't get their act together, the establishment, there is a very strong potential for a violent revolution. But as I've said many times before, I will not advocate it, condone it, want it, or justify it. I don't think any of us want that, quite frankly, because it means innocent blood will be spilled on the streets. But this government cannot expect us to remain peaceful when they keep turning down our peaceful offers. All Keir the traitor Starmer needs to do is resign and say, whilst he's resigning, that he is going to call a snap general election. At least if we do that, we'll have a very strong chance of getting this power back into the people who maybe need it more than others. Because quite frankly, I don't think the power should belong to the nonce party, I mean the Labour Party. Or again, maybe I was right first time. But we have to do something about it, because we can't let these guys run us into the ground. And I do understand why some people will say, we don't want him on the stage. Me, that is. I can understand that, because I do talk about the potential worst case scenario. But the way I see it is we can't keep sitting here and pretending it's all going to be daisies, lollipops, stroke number two, lollipops, dandelions and rainbows. Because that simply may not happen, or more than likely won't happen, quite frankly. I always say this, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And if you expect the worst, you won't be disappointed when it happens. But make sure you don't go on the 1st of February with a balaclava or any other mask on. Masks off at all times. We must not give them a way to infiltrate and discredit the movement. We must not give them any excuses, because they will do everything they can to impose even more draconian laws, if that's even possible. These fascists and sectarianist bastards that lie in the nonce party, they all need to be stopped in some capacity or another. And we must set a good example for all those blue-pilled NPCs that are still fast asleep in the Matrix, quite frankly. Because if we don't do that, they're going to look up at us and see, oh, the media are right, they are far-right racists and thugs and football hooligans and blah, blah, blah. No, we mustn't give them that chance. We must make sure that everything is done by the book. We must make sure that the traitorous establishment gets our message in a by-the-book, peaceful manner. Even if we fundamentally believe that there's going to be a revolution, quite frankly. Because any chance the establishment will have to impose more laws upon us, you can bet your bottom dollar and even your bottom pound that the traitorous establishment will take it with both hands.